Welcome back to another UK versus video where we're taking a look at Grand Archive Pantheon decks. The Arisanna Astral Zenith, the Water Cleric card. This one I'm expecting to be a bit slower, a bit more controlled. We've seen some cool aggro, we've seen some cool mid-range in the past, but with this being a Cleric, and when I see Cleric I see slow, when I see Water I see control. Am I going to be correct just judging this by its cover? Who knows? Let's take a look. Pantheon is the brand new multiplayer format for Grand Archive. 3 to 4 players step into the Pantheon, and using things like Crowd's Favour, boons of lesser or greater, and their barrier shields, they engage in a game of ups and downs, twists and turns, and great politics. Each Pantheon deck comes with a 60 card pre-constructed singleton deck, only one copy of each card provided, and is allowed because Pantheon is a singleton format, a 12 card singleton material deck. You also have a chance of getting extended art champion character such as the Lorraine Spirit Ruler I have here. Very high to this. My first big pull of Grand Archive as far as I'm aware. This is absolutely solid. So let's crack in, and one of my favourite things from these boxes has been this sound. Oh, that's such a cool way to open boxes. So let's crack this open and see if we can get yet another one. Ooh, this one comes with a dice. Is it? Oh, I don't know much about potions, but from what I recognise from the potions here from my Radiant Origins box, we didn't get another alternate extended art character, but it would have been insane luck to hit the 1 in 8 twice. Oh, we got a... Okay, this is cool. Immediately we have a dice potion brewing. So this is a 1. This is a 6. Oh, this... Oh, I don't like that. 1, 5... 3, 6, 2, 3. No. I hate that. A dice, so a 6-sided dice should always add up to 7. So if you have the Blightroot here, then this should be here. So I get it, it doesn't matter for the potion brewing, but it just bugs me that is how dice are supposed to function. Now I have no idea how potion brewing works in this game, and now so if I want to play this on Saturday during the Red Zone Rogue Pantheon event, which has probably happened weeks ago at the time this has actually been published, I need to figure out how potion brewing actually works in Grand Archive. Other than that, let's take a look at our tokens, our boons, and our shield. We have a bunch of cosmic bolts. What? So I assume we're going to have a way to generate cosmic bolts, given how many that we've been given. Cosmic bolt is a free cost cleric spell with star calling. So while we're looking at this at the top of our decks, unlikely we'd be looking at this top of our decks given that this wasn't included in the main deck. You can play it for 2 reserve, deal 4 damage to target a unit plus an additional 2 for each card named Cosmic Bolt in your graveyard or banishment. So there's definitely going to be a way to generate Cosmic Bolts. Then we have our potions. Token item, Sprig Leaf. Sacrifice Sprig Leaf, put a card from your hand to the bottom of your deck. If you do, draw a card. Razorvine, sacrifice Razorvine. If you do put a card from the bottom of your deck and draw a card. So, oh no. Sacrifice Frazier, recover 1. On a 3, we get to do that as well. Sacrifice Mana Root, your champion gets +1 level to the end of the turn. So it's kind of like Super Empowerer. Sacrifice Brightroot does the exact same thing. Then we have the Crowd's Favour, a brand new mechanic for Pantheon. Whilst you hold the crowd's favour, whilst the crowd reveres and enjoys you, It costs 1 reserve to target you or units you control. With attacks, spells, abilities, activations, everything costs 1 more, or it just doesn't work. That is absolutely insane, and it's each one. It's not just I've burnt through it. No, every single time you try to activate, crowd's favor is going to be a huge factor in every single Pantheon game. So being able to secure and maintain crowd's favor is going to be absolutely huge. We have our Greater Boon Enki, a 5-cost reserve, locked to level 2. As you play this boon, draw a card. Whenever you summon 1 or more tokens with a reserve cost of 1 or less, for the first time, summon a copy of one of those tokens. So the first time you summon a low-cost reserve token, you get an additional copy. That's really powerful. And then the Lesser Boon of Prevality, put 6 durability counters on a siegeable domain, or put 3 on one you don't control. And then we have a Pantheon Barrier. We start with this at the beginning of the game. Omni Shroud means it's not able to be targeted by anything anyone tries to do. And if a source would deal damage to you or a unit you control, until 6 of that is dealt, it all gets redirected to Pantheon Barrier. So now we can take a look at Arisanna, and I'm really excited to see what the Astral Water combination does. Potion brewing might be a little bit complex for a new scrub like myself, but let's find out. Let's also separate our normal, water, and Astral cards. So let's take a look at what Arisanna does, starting off with the Spirit of Water. Spirit of Water has on enter, draw 7 cards, typical for your basic spirits, and nothing fancy like I would expect from the Recollection like Mordred and Merlin. This is more just your entry level for Pantheon. Arisanna Herbalist Prodigy. On enter, gather twice. To gather, summon a Bright Root, Mana Root, Silvershine, Fraser, or Razorvine, or Spring Leaf chosen at random. So I imagine you roll this, and then I get a Mana Root. That makes sense. Then we go up to level 2. On enter, gather twice, yet again. Inherited effect, at the beginning of your end phase, you may sacrifice 2 herbs with the same name. If you do, draw a card. So if you're lucky enough when you enter again and you roll the dice, and let's see if I can get another one. Nope, and one more. Yep, so I got 2 Springleaf. If I do, I can sacrifice 2 Springleaf of the same name and draw a card. Pretty decent. Also, because I've gathered 2, I can utilize these to recover, gain level. Not a bad way to do it. And then also you got the sacrifice of draw a card. So maybe not as impactful as say like the Springleaf, which lets me sacrifice it to draw a card. But I have to put a card from my hand to the bottom of my deck. So yeah, I guess that's fair. Then we unlock the Astral element with the Arisanna lineage. Once per turn, you may pay 0 rather than pay a card's star calling cost. So this deck is going to be glimpsing. We're going to be looking at the top cards of the deck. We're going to be trying to go as deep as possible to find these star calling cards. And then once per turn, we're going to want to play one of them for free. Now, this isn't going to affect our regalia or materialization from the materialization zone because they can't star coil. So let's see what we're going to be utilizing to help with our glimpsing and to kind of utilize these herbs and potion brewing. Cleric Robes. On enter, draw a card, 1 reserve, and commit. Prevent 1 damage that will be dealt to your champion this turn. Equinox Hour, a 0 memory cost. Banish it, draw a card, and then an opponent may materialize from their material deck. Essence Crucible. On enter, draw a card. Arisanna bonus. Whenever you brew a card, put a refinement counter on Essence Crucible. If a spell source you control would deal damage to one or more units. That spell deals damage plus X, where X is the amount of refinement counters on Essence Crucible. That's solid. So when you start brewing cards, when you start making the potions, you start refining for the Essence Crucible, and the Essence Crucible bolsters your potions and your other spells that deal damage. Ingredient Pouch. Class bonus, reserve 1, exhaust, and then you get to gather. So you reserve 1, exhaust, and then we get a free Asia. Nice. On a 0 cost that we'll be able to use immediately. That's pretty decent, especially since these have all got their own abilities as well. Polaris Twinkling Cauldron. 1 cost Arisanna bonus. You may activate this card from your material deck. If you do, Polaris enters rested. Whenever you sacrifice a herb, put an age counter on Polaris. Class bonus, exhaust, banish Polaris, deal X damage to all allies. Generate up to X Cosmic Bolt cards and shuffle them into your deck. Never mind, we are going to be glimpsing them. X equals the amount of age counters in here. So anytime we sacrifice one of these herbs, we generate one of these Cosmic Bolts and then we shuffle them into our deck. This will prevent loss by deck out. This also kind of breaks the singleton format. It's also going to be a nightmare. It'll also be a nightmare for if there's ever kind of a competitive version. For you have to remember to take all but one of them back out between rounds. Safeguard Amulet. You may banish this, and if your champion would be dealt damage from a non-combat source, prevent of that damage. Tariff Ring. I've said this in every single video. I'm a big fan of Tariff Ring. During your opponent's recollection phase, you just banish this and you go, if you want to attack anyone, it's going to cost you an additional 2 reserve, which they may not have. And then our last one is the Cosmic Astroscope. Class bonus, if an opponent would glimpse, you may have that player glimpse free instead. Then you may exhaust this to glimpse free. That means look at the top 3 cards of your deck, and then you may put them on the top or bottom in any order. And utilizing that, you get to go, yeah, you're going to glimpse free. Now, if someone has with the Kong Ming, where they can go, I'm going to glimpse 8. They go, no, you're going to glimpse 3. And you're going to enjoy it. That's pretty cool. I like this. It's very technical. And I don't know if I'm in the place where this seems like, immediately reading this, I feel like this is the highest skill ceiling character I've seen so far. And I haven't even got into the normal any water or Astria cards. Alpha Filter Beast. Brew 3 herbs. On enter, if Alpha Filter Beast was brewed, put 2 age counters on it. Whenever an opponent activates a card with reserve cost 3 or more, put an age counter on Filter Beast, and it gets +1/+1 for each age counter on it. So you can brew 3 herbs to put this up to a 4/5, and whenever an opponent in a 4-player game plays reserve cost 3 or more, it gets an age counter and it goes up in power. This can get big and get scary very quickly if you see it early. Barter herbs. Sacrifice 2 herbs for each herb sacrificed this way. Summon your choice of any of the herbs. So essentially you're trading in your herbs for other ones, and you get floating memory. Battlefield. This card costs 1 less to activate. Empower 2. If you have 3 or more units, you empower 4. Break Apart. It destroys a target regalia. It destroys the target item or weapon. If you target a regalia, it's going to cost you 2 more, going up from a 3 to a 5. Disenchant will destroy any Fantasia for 2 cost at a slow speed, however. Distilled Atrophy. Distilled Atrophy. Brew 1 Bright Root and 1 herb. So as long as you've got the Bright Root, you can then use any of the other herbs. At the beginning of your recollection phase, put an age counter on Distilled Atrophy. Sacrifice it. Target champion gets -X level until the end of turn. Then if that champion is at level 0 or lower, deal X damage to them equal to the amount of... Oh, what? So it's an anti-empower potion, which seems really solid. And then on top of that, it goes, oh, and if you're not playing Empower, I'm just going to sit here, keep adding on these age counters, and then I'm just going to burn you with the potion if you're not high enough level. Distilled water, brew 1 herb, sacrifice distilled water. If distilled water was brewed, draw a card. So rather than paying the 0 cost to play it for reserve, you can sacrifice 1 herb that you've gathered, and then you can sacrifice distilled water. If it was brewed, you draw a card. So you can play it for 0, but unless you've brewed a potion into it, you're not going to get any benefit from the sacrifice. Makes sense. Empowering Tincture, brew 1 mana root and 1 herb. On enter, if it was brewed, draw a card into memory, sacrifice it, your champion gains 2 levels until the end of turn. This is getting nasty. This is better than Empower because it's till the end of turn, so it's going to be affecting everything. Now, it's not going to trigger any ability, say if it was empowered, because you're not empowering technically, but anything that requires, that is bolstered or cheapened by the level of your character is going to apply across the board. Conqueror, this is a great siege unit. It will be, basically, if it's attacking a domain, it gets +3 attack. Harvest Herbs, a 1 cost, gather, summon, so basically you roll the dice, you get 1 of the herbs, and it's a floating memory for 1, really solid. Idle Thoughts, if you can get this early, you're going to be setting up your next few turns. It does say look, not glimpse, so you can't star calling. Very cool, good way, very future sighty of Weaves of the Shore to put that there. And floating memory means once you've done it, once you've set up what your next 4 draws are going to be, you have floating memory to help you level up and materialize. Imperial Countermeasure, then prevent the next 4 damage that we dealt to target units, and then draw a card into your memory. Mend Call Mercy, a cleric spell, 3 cost. Class bonus means this is 1 less to play for your cleric. Target player recovers X, where X is 3 times the champion's base level. If that was an opponent, you gain crowd's favor. So if you're level 3, you can heal for 9 health and gain the crowd's favor and make an ally along the way. Mnemonic Charm. On enter, draw a card into memory. Sacrifice Mnemonic Charm, empower 2. So there's the empowerment. So this seems like a very high skill ceiling level, and I'm really worried to see what's going to be in these other 2 piles. These other 2 piles are a little bit terrifying, seeing as what we're doing level-wise here. Incessant Barrier. Class bonus, prevent the next 1+ level damage that we dealt to your champion this turn. So if we increase our level for the rest of the turn, and then we also empower, we're going to be able to prevent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage. And then at level 3 or higher, we get to glimpse. And if we glimpse a Starbolt, we can pay 2 to play it. Nasty. Or if we're at our top level, once per turn, which would also include our opponent's turns, when we glimpsing, we can star call for free. Nascent Blast. Deal 3 damage to target unit. If Nascent Blast was empowered, put it into your memory. Love that. Caught Assassin, Ambush and Vigor. Vigor means at the end of your turn it readies, and Ambush means even if it's not the defending unit, it can still retaliate, but retaliating would exhaust it. And when on enter, you get Agility 3, which means you get 3 memory back at the end of your turn. The Pendant of Accrual. This is in every single Pantheon deck, along with a few of these normal cards, that normal element cards that just says, at the beginning of each recollection step, your opponent has to pay 2, or you get a deck counter, and for 2 deck counters, you draw a card into memory. Shield Bearer is a 1/4 taunt unit. That taunt means that it has to be dealt with. It needs to be off the field before any opponent can attack your champion or any other unit. Potion Infusion Animate. An Arisanna bonus. This card costs 2 less to activate, so it becomes a 2 cost. Rest target non-regalia potion. If you do, it becomes an ally in addition to its other types with a base power and life equal to its reserve cost. Each of its activated abilities become on-death abilities. So you just bring a potion to life? And depending on how expensive that potion was, depends on how much power and life it has. And then on death, you get all of the activated abilities. Potion infusion volatility. Arisanna bonus efficiency. So efficiency means it gets cheaper based on your level. So if you only have your base level out, if you only have your level 3, you haven't done any shenanigans with the levels, this would be a 4 cost. Rest target potion. If you do it gains on sacrifice, deal 4 plus d6 damage to each champion if you don't control until the end of turn. Roll a 6-sided dice to determine a d6 if a d6 effect resolves. Potion of healing. Brew 2 herbs. So rather than paying 3 reserve, you can sacrifice any 2 herbs, and then you can sacrifice potion of healing to recover 5 damage counters. Samaritan's Reach. Class bonus, it costs 1 less to activate, down to a 2 from a 3. Deal 3 damage to a target ally. Deal 3 damage to a target attacking ally you don't control. If the ally was attacking a unit you don't control, you gain the crowd's favor, so you can save someone and build an alliance, and then also gain the crowd's favor, making you harder to deal with. Sanctified Paladin, foster. As long as Sanctified Paladin is fostered, it gains +3 power and +3 health, and has vigor. And when it becomes fostered, you draw 2 cards. Scry the Skies. This is a nasty card for what we're doing here. Glimpse equal to your level. So if we can artificially increase our level, if we can empower, we can then push this glimpse to go deep into our deck, and we can find all of these generated spells that we got here of the Cosmic Bolt, and then we can essentially start star calling them for 2 or even for 3, and we can start popping off and hitting people in the face. The Serum of Wisdom. Brew, so you can sacrifice 3 herbs rather than pay the 3 reserve cost, and then you may sacrifice it to Glimpse 3, then draw a card into memory. Shade Striker, a 3 cost 2 power, 3 health ambush unit, which means it can retaliate even if it's not the defending unit. Shared Feather. Each player drops a card into their memory and you gain the crowd's favor. Silver Soldier is a retort 2 vigor, 3 power, 4 health, 3 cost unit. Stocked Outpost. This is one I've seen a lot, so I'm kind of going through these because they're fresh in my memory. It's a domain that's siegeable, which means if it has 4 health and it can be attacked, on enter you get a card into your memory. On destroy, if it's an opponent's turn, then they get to draw into memory. Tonic of Remembrance, a 3 cost with brew 1 catalyst and 1 adjuvant. Class bonus, banish Tonic of Remembrance. Return 3 cards from your memory to your hand. That's pretty decent. A different veteran soldier to what I've seen in the other ones. It's a 2, 3, 5 cost floating memory. It's not great, but it does its job. And then the last one of our normal element cards is the Wisdom Reprise. Glimpse 3, and if you're a level 3 Arisanna, you get to draw a card into memory on a 1 cost. That's pretty nasty and pretty cool. So like I thought, lots of control, lots of healing, lots of level manipulation. This is a very high skill ceiling character, I'm feeling. Where not only do you need to have a good understanding of how the game flows, but you need to have a good grasp of the game mechanics as well. I'm already starting to feel the drain reading these cards as a relatively new player. Well, as a brand new player, essentially. I've only played 2 games. Sorry to bust anyone here. Sandbox has not been friendly to me. People have just not been around when I've been around. Let's take a look at our water cards. We have the Aqua Vitae, Brew 1 Sprig Leaf. Class bonus at the beginning of your recollection phase, put an age counter on Aqua, sacrifice a Aqua, draw a card, then if there are 3 more age counters, draw an additional card. That's pretty decent. Drift Guard, taunt on enter. If you may have target opponent gain control of Drift Guard. If you do, gain crowd's favor. So if an opponent is struggling, if someone is looking in a very bad situation, you may have them gain control of this and you gain crowd's favor, meaning that you're going to be hard to deal with, but you're going to be protecting an alliance, an ally, or establishing an alliance. Tonic, Brew 1 Frazier. Sacrifice Tonic, you may put up to 2 cards from your hand into the bottom of your deck, then draw that many cards and recover 3. The Essence of Blizzard. Brew 1 Adjuvant and 1 Catalyst, then sacrifice it and deal 1 damage to target. If that unit is rested, deal 1+ level. Instead, until the end of turn, allies enter the field rested. So, what you can do here is you can join your opponent's recollection phase, blow this up, target one of their rested units, and then go boom, and then all your stuff's entered rested, which means you're not going to be able to kill anyone. That's pretty decent. Flash Freeze, it costs 2 less to activate if you are a cleric. Negate the activation unless it's negate a card activation unless its controller plays equal to your level, and then banish that card. So there's going to be no recursion jiggery pokery with this, especially on a 2 cost that's kind of deadly. Frostbind, negate tag activation unless its controller pays 2. Banish the card that had its activation negated this way. Crystalline Distiller. On enter, if you have brewed a potion this turn, draw a card into your memory on a 1/3 cleric human. Potion Infusion Clarity. This card costs 2 less to activate if you're a cleric. Rest target potion. If you do, it gains on sacrifice, draw 2 cards until the end of turn. So you got to find a way to sacrifice it because it becomes rested. That's pretty decent. Potion Infusion Frostbite. Rest target potion. If you do, it gains sacrifice rest target unit. The next time that a unit would take damage from a water element, it takes that plus 4 more damage. Brutal for 1 cost. Potion Infusion Seal. Rest target potion. If you do, it gains on sacrifice negate target. On sacrifice negate target card activation unless its controller pays 2 until the end of turn. And it's floating memory. And last one we have here is the Water Veil Apostle. Class bonus memory +4. So you have to have 4 memory before you can even play this. At the beginning of your recollection phase, gather, which means you get to roll and get a herb on a 3 cost 1/4. I'm shame it didn't have the Crystalline Ruins, which is one of the cards I absolutely love and want to build a Pantheon deck around. Let's crack into the Astra cards. Astra Sight, start calling for 0, glimpse 1, then draw a card. So if you see this during your glimpsing, you get to play it and you get to glimpse even further, hopefully getting to see if you can find any more star calling. Astral Mech Attendant, on bonus class bonus on enter, gather 3 times, so you get 3 herbs. Whenever you brew a potion, draw a card into memory. That's nasty on a 2 cost 2/3. Celestial Navigation, glimpse 5, floating memory on a 2 cost. Nice. Comet Fall, a 5 cost with a star calling of 2. Deal 3 damage to all non-Astra element units. Class bonus, deal 4 to... So this nukes the board for 4 to all non-Astra units. If you can star call it on a 2 just by glimpsing it. Condensed Supernova. Brew costs you 5. It's got a base cost of 7. It brews for 5 herbs. Sacrifice Condescended Supernova. Sacrifice Condensed Supernova. Deal level damage to all non-Astra element units. Then glimpse 4. Ooh. Cosmic Ball, a star calling of 2. Deal 4 damage to target plus 2 for each kind of Cosmic Ball in your graveyard or banishment. So the more we can generate, the more this can do and the more we'll be able to wipe out. Dwarf Star's Glow, star calling 1. Deal 2 damage to target unit. If Dwarf Star's Glow was star called, put it into its owner's memory. So not only when you play it from star called does it cost half the base reserve cost, but then you get to reuse it. I like that a lot. Lunar Seer, star calling 1, so if you get it while glimpsing, you get to play it for again half cost. And then class bonus, if you're a cleric, you can exhaust it to glimpse 2. Unfortunately, you can't find more of them because it's a singleton format, but that would have been nasty. Star calling 3, it's a free, but as long as Meteor Strike is being star called, it deals 3 damage to all units except your champion. Otherwise, it has destroyed target non-champion object. So, you can destroy anything that isn't a champion if you don't star call it, but if you do star call it, you get to do a cheeky little board wipe and do some damage. Redirecting Orbit, shuffle any number of cards from your hand and or memory into your deck, then draw that many cards into your memory. So you get to kind of selectively mulligan. That's really decent. Refracted Twilight. Brew is 5 on a cost of 6 for reserve. Banish Refracted Twilight. The next time you activate an ability of a target potion this turn, copy that ability twice. You may choose new targets for that ability. Nice. Shield spell Astral. Class bonus, this only costs 2 instead of 4. The next time damage would be dealt to your champion. This turn prevents it, then glimpse equal to the amount of damage prevented. What? Oh. Let me just hit you for 15. How about no? And I'll glimpse 15. Starlit Apothecary, Arisanna bonus. At the beginning of your recollection, you phase summon a token copy of target potion or herb you control unless an opponent pays 4. If the summon token was a potion, it becomes brewed. Each opponent declares to pay or not the option in turn order until one does. Stellar Bloom, star calling for 2 on a 2. As long as you gather 4 times. So if you have it in your hand or you star call, it costs the same, but being able to play it from a glimpse and be able to gather 4 times seems absolutely nasty. Trine Recursion. Ooh, bye bye. Trine Recursion. Put a target card in a graveyard into its owner's deck. 3rd from the top. Okay, this is like, yeah, you want that? You can have it, but you know, give me a few turns to figure out how I'm going to stop you if you come after me. I think that's funny. Twin Star Tonic, you can brew it for 6 on a 12 reserve cost. Sacrifice Twin Star Tonic. For the rest of the game, whenever you star call a card, you may copy that activation. If you do choose new targets, like what? So if you sack this, each copy of this gets doubled. And you may choose new targets. That is insane. I think I'm definitely right about this being the highest skill ceiling character out of the Pantheon. I feel like you need a good technical knowledge of Grand Archive in order to be able to play it. You need to have a good understanding of how the rules interact, how timing and the game kind of flows. And this is the one I expect the most established and confident players to be playing. It's one I'd absolutely love to give a go. This feels like such a cool deck, but as a person who's only really played 2-3 games, I don't know if I'm confident enough to play this. I know the event I'm getting ready to play for is just for fun, but at the same time, I also don't want to have my opponents wasting time waiting for me while I read cards. I'll try to figure out what the best thing to do is. Arisanna looks absolutely nuts. The more characters I read from this game, the more I get involved, the more I just look and go, the depth of knowledge, the depth of interactions to play this game is so much. not only in what you're doing, but when you see your opponent's deck, what they're doing. I'm going to leave it there because this went on way too long, but I had so much fun with Arisanna. Let me know what you guys think. Is Arisanna as complicated, or am I just overhyping the complication of this Pantheon deck? I'll catch you all at game night, and let me know what the best Pantheon deck is to play for a brand new player. I'll see you later. Bye.